Hey everyone. So this is going to be just a simple getting started guide to the Afterlight Fades level editor. So let's jump straight in here. And okay, so first up I'm just going to go through the tools and then go through how to navigate and use the object types here. So I know this can look overwhelming, but there's a lot of ways to just filter out the objects so that we only have to deal with a few at a time. So we'll start with the tools over here. So first up we got the draw, erase and move tools. Those are pretty self-explanatory. And the level size. So probably one of the first things you're going to want to do is figure out a general level size, and you don't have to, it doesn't have to be set in stone before you start making the level. You can keep changing it as you go. But figuring out sort of the general gist of how big a level you're trying to make is a good place to start. Okay, so let's start with the draw tool. So if we select an item to draw with here, and we'll start with a door, then we click that item and you can see that we've got a pencil tool there when we're hovering over the grid, and that means that we're going to draw that item into the grid. So we just want one there. We can right click to erase, so right click to erase while we're in draw mode. And you can see that we've also got an erase mode here. So if we hold down the button while we're drawing, then it will continuously draw. But if we right click, it'll just delete one thing at a time. So if we've drawn a lot of things and we want to erase a lot of things, then we can hold the button. We can use erase mode and hold the button to erase like that. So let's go back here and the move tool. If we select that, then you can see we've got a hand icon there, and we can literally just move one object at a time. And you can move anything like that. So things can be rotated. There isn't a tool for rotating because we just do it via the keyboard. So you can see down the bottom of the screen there, it tells you if an object is rotatable. So this one isn't, but when we cursor over this one, it tells you that it is. So you can either press tab to rotate it by 90 degrees at a time, or you can use WASD to rotate it in a specific direction. So some things, the rotation message will always be the same, but some things like this one, it doesn't really make sense for it to rotate in 4 directions. So it's, it's either going to be that rotation or that rotation, but the rotation message is always going to be the same. So that is just another one to be aware of, and a sort of a different tool to be aware of that's not in here. And there are a few other things which I won't go into in this video, which it will tell you along the bottom of the screen if that object has a special way that it can be interacted with. Okay, so those are the basics of the tools. You can also re-roll the environment, and you might have noticed that when we change the grid size, it re-rolls the environment for us. You can see the environment randomizing when we change the grid size. And that's basically just aesthetic, but sometimes there's a practical purpose for it as well. So you might be interested in using the shadows as kind of a feature in your level, or sometimes you get trees down here that are just sort of too big, getting in the way. So say here, for example, that tree is sort of starting to get in the way of our gameplay. So that might not be a good roll. Here you can re-roll the surrounding walls. So these are just literally the walls that surround your grid. Again, you might get something like this that's getting a bit in the way that you don't want there, or you might be looking for some interesting shadows or just some interesting shapes. Really, it's just a lot about the atmosphere that's being created, whether it works for your level or not, and you might be surprised at how much difference you can get from different random rolls. So here we've got all the file management stuff. So you just put in a level name, and then you can save your level, and you can load your levels. This will tell you all the levels that you've stored locally, and these are just your custom made levels. And if you want to share things publicly, you do that via Steam Workshop, which I'll go over in a different video. So up here, this is the only tool I didn't go over. That's an eyedropper tool, so that's just for selecting a cell. So say if you've drawn lots of different cell types into your level, and say you want to draw with this one, you can just press C and it will change that to the currently selected one. So whichever one you're cursoring over, you press C and that becomes the new one that you're drawing with. So this is not a button. That's just to let you know that you can do that. Okay, so that is all that you need to know about the tools there. So we'll switch over to managing your object types. So there's a lot to deal with, but don't get overwhelmed. Just start with some of these simple filters here. So if you clear the filters, this is the entire list, which is a lot. So if you're just starting out, essentials and common and basics are some good places to start. Hopefully you've already played a bit of the main game before and you have an idea about how objects work. If you don't, if you haven't, then I recommend that that's the best place to start, to just getting an idea about how things move. Things have different behaviors, so there's kind of a lot to learn about what you can push and what you can pull and how things respond to each other. So for now, we're just going to make a really simple key lock level. So we've got a key, we've got a lock. So if you haven't played the game before, you just need to get a key on top of a lock and that opens a door. That's the simplest way to design a level. And let's just re-roll to get that tree out of the way. Yeah, so that's the simplest way to design a level, but there are other ways to have to create level completion states. So you might not necessarily be using a key and lock, but we'll go over that in a second. Okay. So the reason that I'm doing this is doors by default, the cell of a door, so this area is an obstacle, but once you've opened the door, it's not an obstacle anymore, which means that you can, theoretically just walk in at the back like that or walk in from any side. So you're not going to want that to happen, but the reason that it doesn't automatically give you a way of bounding that off is because it just is a bit more flexible than that. So if you want to do something like this and just put in your own obstacles, you can do that. Another common way that it's handled in the main games levels is that I'll often just use edge barriers like this and just put fences around that area. So when you put doors into your level, just remember to have some way of bounding that off. Or if you want to let the player sort of cheat and jump in at the back or on any side, you're free to do that as well. Okay, so, and that was, again, that's just rotating that object. So what we have there is already a completable level, right? Your player can complete that. It's not interesting, but you can sort of start there and then start putting more interesting aspects of your puzzle into that. But because we're just keeping it simple in this video, I'll basically just leave it at that. And I will quickly, I'm not going to go over all the variations of how you can make a level completable, but I'll show you one quick example. So I'm going to get rid of the key and lock. And so then the question is, how do I open a door if I don't have a key and lock? So fire beacons are another way. So no matter how many you've got in your level, as soon as you ignite the last fire beacon, then the door will open. So you can have lots or you can have few. And you can see as soon as I light the last one, the door opens. So, and there are other methods as well. There are electric beacons, which you need to get electricity to, and the door will open. And there's also abyss completion states, which are a bit more to go into. So using the artifacts. If you push an artifact into an abyss, that will complete the level, and in abyss completion states, you don't even need a door in your level. But that's a subject for another video, really. So, so just remember to sort of keep things manageable. Just use these filter types to help filter what you're looking for. And once you know the objects a bit better, you can also filter by first letter. So let's say I'm looking for a bomb. I can just press B there, and that'll give me everything that starts with the letter B. So that is just a really nice, simple way to give you sort of a manageable list of the things that you're looking for. All right, so I think that's everything that you need to know to get started with just some really basic creating some levels with the Afterlight Phase level editor. So I look forward to seeing what you come up with. And if you have any other questions, then you can also jump into the Discord, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. So thank you and have fun. All right, see you later.